Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to today's story from the grandest stages of tennis, where history was written under the bright lights of Rod Laver Arena, and a new chapter was added to one of the sport's most compelling rivalries. On a night filled with tension, power, and raw emotion, Elena Rybakina delivered a performance of extraordinary force and composure to overcome Aryna Sabalenka and claim her maiden Australian Open title, sealing her place among the elite of the modern game. From the moment she stepped onto the court, Rybakina carried an air of quiet determination. This was not just another final. This was a return to the scene of heartbreak, a return to Melbourne Park where 3 years earlier she had fallen short in a championship match against the same opponent. This time, however, the story would unfold very differently. With fearless ball striking, unshakable belief, and a calm presence that belied the magnitude of the occasion, the Kazakh star turned the tables on the world number one, defeating Sabalenka in a gripping three-set battle, 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. The victory marked Rybakina's second Grand Slam crown, adding the Daphne Akhurst Memorial Cup to the Wimbledon trophy she captured in 2022. It was a triumph that felt both inevitable and remarkable, the culmination of a fortnight in which she moved with ruthless efficiency through the draw, often without the spotlight that typically follows champions. While others commanded headlines, Rybakina simply kept winning, methodically dismantling opponents and conserving her best tennis for the biggest moment of all. This final carried historical weight even before the first ball was struck. It was the first Grand Slam final since 2008 to feature two players who had not dropped a single set en route to the title match. Both Rybakina and Sabalenka arrived in blistering form, their paths to the final marked by dominance and authority. Sabalenka, the top seed and reigning force on hard courts, came in with a staggering record of 46 wins from her previous 48 hard-court Grand Slam matches. She was widely viewed as the favorite, a player whose power and confidence had transformed her into the woman to beat in Melbourne. Yet from the opening game, it was Rybakina who seized control. With the roof closed over Rod Laver Arena, amplifying every sound and intensifying the atmosphere, she came out swinging freely, breaking Sabalenka's serve immediately and setting the tone for what would follow. Her serve thundered through the court, her ground strokes penetrated the baseline, and her willingness to step inside the court put the world number one on the defensive far earlier than expected. Rybakina's ball striking was relentless in the opening set. Each cleanly struck forehand and backhand seemed to echo her intent, forcing Sabalenka to scramble and rush. Despite Sabalenka's experience and championship pedigree, she struggled to find rhythm as Rybakina dictated play with depth and pace. The Kazakh fifth seed moved efficiently, conserving energy while maintaining constant pressure, and as the set progressed, it became clear that she was playing with supreme confidence. Serving at 5-4, Rybakina showed no nerves. She worked her way to set point with authority and closed it out in style, sending an unmistakable message across the net. The alarm bells were ringing in Sabalenka's camp, and the first set belonged to Rybakina, 6-4. The second set, however, told a different story. Champions respond when challenged, and Sabalenka did exactly that. Drawing on her experience and the resilience that has defined her rise to the top of the rankings, she began the set with renewed purpose. Her serve found greater accuracy, her ground strokes carried more margin, and she started to impose herself in the rallies. Still, Rybakina refused to yield easily. Early in the set, she faced 3 breakpoints but saved them all with a combination of powerful serving and fearless shot selection, holding for 1-1 and reminding Sabalenka that nothing would come easily. The rallies grew longer, the intensity heightened, and the final began to resemble the heavyweight contest fans had anticipated. At a crucial moment, a rare lapse from Rybakina opened the door. A loose forehand provided Sabalenka with the opportunity she needed, and the Belarusian seized it, breaking serve and leveling the match at 1 set apiece. The momentum had shifted, and with it came the sense that the championship would be decided by mental strength as much as physical execution. As the deciding set began, memories of their previous Melbourne final resurfaced. In that 2023 clash, Sabalenka had emerged victorious from a similar position, and she appeared determined to repeat history. She came out firing, unleashing a barrage of winners to race into a 3-0 lead. The crowd sensed a turning point, and for a moment, it seemed as though Sabalenka's dominance might once again prevail. But Rybakina's response was the mark of a champion. Calm, composed, and unwavering, she refused to panic. She tightened her focus, raised her intensity, and began to chip away at the deficit. Point by point, game by game, she clawed her way back into the match, using her serve as a shield and her ground strokes as weapons. The critical moment arrived when Rybakina broke back to level the set. From there, she surged ahead, breaking again for 4-3 and flipping the script in dramatic fashion. The pressure shifted instantly, and now it was Sabalenka who was forced to chase, her frustration visible as Rybakina maintained her composure. Serving for the championship, Rybakina delivered the knockout blow in emphatic style. A thumping ace sealed the victory, and for a brief moment, the usually reserved champion allowed herself a smile. She stepped forward, pumped her fist, and embraced Sabalenka at the net before turning to celebrate with her team in the stands. It was a scene of quiet triumph, one that reflected her understated personality and immense inner strength. In her post-match remarks, Rybakina struggled to put the moment into words. She praised Sabalenka for her incredible achievements over the past few years and expressed hope that their rivalry would continue on the biggest stages. She also took time to thank the fans, whose energy and support had filled the arena, and acknowledged the backing she felt from Kazakhstan throughout the tournament. She spoke warmly of Melbourne, describing the Australian Open as a place she always enjoys returning to, a tournament that now holds an even more special place in her heart. For Rybakina, this victory was not just about lifting a trophy. It was about perseverance, belief, and overcoming the obstacles that had tested her over the past year. Only 12 months earlier, her career had been clouded by off-court challenges, including the scrutiny surrounding her coach and the uncertainty that followed. Standing now as the Australian Open champion, she thanked her team for standing by her and helping her navigate difficult moments, expressing optimism that this success could be the foundation for an even stronger season ahead. For Sabalenka, the defeat was painful and deeply emotional. Denied the chance to achieve a historic three-peat in Melbourne, she sat in her chair after the match with a towel draped over her head, trying to process the disappointment. When she addressed the crowd, her voice carried the weight of the moment. She congratulated Rybakina on an incredible run and acknowledged the quality of tennis that defined the final. Despite the heartbreak, Sabalenka expressed her love for the Australian Open and the fans, thanking them for their unwavering support and vowing to return stronger in the future. Her words reflected the grace of a champion, even in defeat. As the lights dimmed on another unforgettable Australian Open final, one truth stood clear. Elena Rybakina had arrived not just as a Grand Slam winner, but as a defining force in women's tennis. Her victory over Aryna Sabalenka was more than a single match. It was a statement of intent, a reminder that power paired with composure can conquer even the most formidable opponents. This was a night when resilience met redemption, when quiet confidence outshone expectation, and when a player who once flew under the radar claimed her rightful place at the top of the sport. The Australian Open once again delivered drama, emotion, and history, and at its heart stood Elena Rybakina, a champion whose journey continues to inspire and whose future now looks brighter than ever.